All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tackling something I know pretty much every single one of us struggles with at some point. It's that incredibly frustrating paradox of feeling constantly, overwhelmingly busy, but rarely actually feeling productive. You know exactly the feeling, right? You run around all day long, getting things done, but when you look back at night, the things that truly mattered didn't even get touched. Well, the source material we're exploring today offers a really fascinating, structured way to fix exactly that.
I mean, really think about it. Why does checking off 10 items on your list still leave you feeling like you got absolutely nothing done? It is a painful reality. We've all felt that heavy guilt of an unfinished, massively overwhelming to-do list just staring back at us. You might have crossed off answering a bunch of emails, taking out the recycling, maybe organizing your desk, but that massive project hanging over your head? Yeah, it's still there. It's a shared pain, and today we're going to uncover exactly why our brains do this, and more importantly, how to stop it.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the to-do list trap. Second, beating the monkey. Third, the ADE solution. And finally, your first three things.
Okay, let's jump right into part one, the to-do list trap, and this whole illusion of busyness.
Here's the core of the problem. When your to-do list is absolutely no structure, it just turns into this overwhelming jumble of random chores. Think about what happens when you just brain dump everything onto a single piece of paper. Your brain looks at that list completely blind to priority. To your mind, taking out the trash is presented with the exact same weight and urgency as writing a novel or finishing a career-defining presentation. And without a clear structure, well, we just naturally gravitate toward the easiest, fastest things to cross off so we can get that quick hit of dopamine. Meanwhile, the heavy, truly meaningful stuff gets totally ignored.
Which brings us to part two, beating the monkey, and the very real battle going on inside your head.
So there is literally a tug-of-war happening in your mind, pushing you toward those low-priority items. On one side, you've got the rational decision-maker. This is the smart, responsible planner in you, the one who wants to focus on tasks that are crucial for your long-term goals, even if they aren't screaming for attention right this second. But on the other side, you have the instant gratification monkey. And this monkey lives purely in the moment. It craves easy comfort and pushes you toward tasks that feel urgent but are actually completely unimportant. Simply put, the monkey loves a good distraction.
The source material has a perfect name for this behavior. They call it feeding the pig, which stands for personal instant gratification. Basically, it means seeking out quick, easy rewards at the direct expense of your big, long-term goals. I mean, have you ever suddenly decided you absolutely must deep clean the kitchen sink just to avoid starting a huge work project? Actually, scratch that. We've all done it. That is your brain hunting for a quick win. You're feeding the monkey, you're feeding your personal instant gratification, and you're tricking yourself into feeling productive while you're literally avoiding what actually matters.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. If you let that monkey run the show and you keep putting off those vital tasks for too long, eventually the panic monster wakes up. And the panic monster forces you straight into quadrant one, where things are suddenly important and urgent. Deadlines are looming, crises are exploding everywhere, and you are just thrown into this super stressful last-minute frenzy trying to do damage control. The goal here is to keep the panic monster asleep by staying incredibly focused on what matters before it turns into a 5-alarm emergency.
So how exactly do we fix this? Well, we can look to the Pareto principle. You probably know it as the 80-20 rule. It's a great reminder that 80% of our actual, meaningful results come from just 20% of our effort. The real trick to escaping this busy work trap is figuring out what exactly makes up your magic 20%. What's actually generating your results? Once you know that, you dedicate your absolute best energy to those specific things instead of burning yourself out on the trivial 80%.
All right, let's move into part three, the A to E solution, and how we start ranking reality.
To find that crucial 20% and prevent your list from just becoming a jumbled mess, the book recommends a really strict labeling system. You literally assign a letter, A through E, to every single task based purely on its true importance. A represents your absolute most critical tasks. These are the game changers. Then B, C, and D represent tasks of decreasing importance. And E, those are the bottom of the barrel, least important time wasters. And hey, if you've got multiple tasks tied for importance, you just slap a number on them, like A1, A2, and so on. It's incredibly simple, but it violently forces you to rank your reality.
This whole concept is perfectly summed up by this quote right here. The golden rule is that you absolutely must complete A tasks first, instead of getting bogged down by less important tasks. I know it sounds super simple, but man, it requires fierce discipline. You have to tackle those vital A actions before you even allow yourself to glance at the rest of the alphabet.
Seriously, if you catch yourself doing a C task while an A task is just sitting there undone, well, the instant gratification monkey just won.
And that brings us to our final section, Part 4, your first 3 things. Let's take this from theory to practice.
So, how do we actually implement this today? Like, what specifically qualifies as an A task? Well, according to the source, priority A tasks are deeply, deeply value-driven. We aren't talking about running to the post office here. These are actions that truly align with your long-term goals. The text identifies them as your first 3 things. These are the absolute non-negotiable, must-do items for your day. Because when you chip away at your top 3 priorities every single day, you actually get this real sense of moving forward in life, rather than just feeling like you're running on a treadmill.
But quick word of warning here, we gotta be realistic. If your A task for a random Tuesday is write an entire book, you are going to fail. You're going to get discouraged and you'll go right back to folding the laundry. You have to connect your A tasks to smarter goals. That's smarter with an ER. It means your goals need to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Ensuring your top priorities are actually doable is exactly how you stay motivated and keep that panic monster snoozing.
Now, what if an A task still feels totally overwhelming? The source offers a genius little hack to empower yourself. Break it down into tiny, tiny habits. Step 1. Isolate one ridiculously small task, like stupidly small. Instead of saying, I need to work out for an hour, make your task do one single push-up or stretch for exactly 3 minutes. It sounds silly, but if it seems absurdly easy to your conscious mind, your unconscious mind won't put up a fight. Step 2 is to use if-then implementation intentions. Something like, if I finish my morning coffee, then I will write for 3 minutes. You pre-decide the action, it takes all the pressure off your willpower, and usually, once you start, momentum just carries you the rest of the way.
All right, I want to leave you with one final, kind of provocative thought to chew on. I want you to look at your to-do list right now. Seriously, visualize it. Who are you really working for? Are your daily actions just feeding that instant gratification monkey? Are you just checking off easy, trivial little boxes that ultimately lead absolutely nowhere? Or are you going to use the A to E method, lock in on your first 3 things, and actually serve your authentic values? The choice of what you do next is entirely up to you.